Alright guys, this is the boiling down of the sap. This is my apparatus I just have made here just to boil down the sap. Just two real deep pans, and then they're set up by a couple cinder blocks, and then I just build a decent fire underneath. I'm just getting going here. As you can see, starting to get some bubbles forming there, but we're just getting started here. I'll show you guys after a little bit of it getting a good rolling boil going, getting a good fire underneath of it, and showing you how all that works. Alright, here we go. It's first starting to boil. It's hard to see because of the steam, I'm figuring, but it's rolling away pretty good there. This one always doesn't heat up as much because the fire is mainly in that back. I can show you, but I will start to bring the fire out a little more. It's starting to break out a little more. Just keep adding fuel more towards this end, and it'll bring it in and heat that pan, and that pan will eventually start to boil. But that back one always is a little harder of a boil when I do this. But you can see the steam starting to roll off, and it actually is already turned into a different color. So that's one of the first things you'll notice is the change in color. You'll start to get like a lighter brown as it starts to boil down a little bit. So I just figured I'd show you guys, and I'll post back with you here in a little bit. Alright guys, a little later in the day. As you can see, that back pan's turned pretty brown. We got a good boil going on in it. The front pan I just put back on. I did take a small break, but the front pan's all fresh stuff. I'm kind of preheating it in the front pan and then putting it in the back pan. The back pan boils a lot better, but I figured I'd just show you guys how it's going. Got the fire all stoked up. Still going good. That's something I should tell you, is that you should keep the one pan boiling like this. It just because as soon as you take it away from the boil, your evaporation is pretty much cut in half. So you do want to keep one pan boiling and have one pan almost as a preheater. But it's honestly boiling now too pretty good. So they're both going to be boiling off. But if I'm going to add to, I'll add to the front pan there, just because it doesn't boil as well. But things are going good. That's the amount of sap I have left. Obviously, it's kind of hard to tell. I would say maybe about half of that drum. So, got a little ways to go yet. But we'll keep boiling it down and seeing how things go. Okay guys, this is just me showing you the boiling of the sap. It was getting a little dark for me to and a little loud to talk, and I just was ready to get it over with. It was a long night, but that's what the sap looks like, and I'm going to show you here the filter I used, and that's about it. Alright guys, so you see me condense all of this down outside. This was probably about 40 gallons, I'd say. We got it condensed down to about 2 gallons. We're going here on the stove now for the last little bit. It's just easier to maintain that, and I'm already inside. With this stuff, I'm going to can it just so it's all ready to go. I don't have to refrigerate it, you know, for a whole year or however long it's going to take you to use up however much you make. It's just easier to can it. As long as you have it at least 180 degrees, like say once we boil this down, you got to keep it at least at 180 degrees to be able to can it. If you've ever canned anything before, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just needs to be hot to kill the bacteria and to make a good seal. Just clean all your jars before, just like any other can. Nothing different there. But this is just getting going here, so we'll leave this go for a little bit, and I'll show you guys here after it starts getting a little bit of a boil going. Alright guys, we're coming to a boil now. It's pretty much a rolling boil. A few things that I forgot to say earlier that I thought of as I was standing here waiting for this to boil. When I was outside filming this, it was getting real dark, so I didn't get to explain everything that I wanted to. I filtered this, what's in here, after I was done outside with it. It's a good idea to do that. There's a lot of, they call it, I think it's sugar sand. It's like a grit. It's like nutrients from the tree, essentially, is what it is. Not that big a deal if you leave it in there, but when you do it like I did over a fire, you're inevitably going to get ash and stuff in it. It's just going to happen. It's pretty much unavoidable. So all I did was I put an old t-shirt over this, a clean t-shirt, wrapped a tie around it, and then just filtered it into here. It was just the simplest way, but that was something I wanted to tell you guys. I would recommend definitely filtering it out before you finish it. I think that's the easiest time to do it, because if you try to do it after it starts getting too thick, filtering it through a t-shirt, it starts taking a real long time. It's just getting too thick. And then one of the other things was just, I'm not sure if I mentioned about the jars being clean and whatnot. Make sure your jars are clean, have everything ready. And then you're going to want to, as it's boiling here, I have my thermometer here. It's just a little cheapo digital one, you get it at Walmart. You're just going to want to check, as it first comes to a boil, check what temperature it's boiling at. Because that's going to make a difference for in the end, or when you're starting to check to see if it's syrup yet. Depending on your altitude is going to make a difference in what temperature. You would think everybody would boil at 212, but that's not the case. I actually do boil at 212 here, so what you're looking for is 7 degrees above boiling. When you reach that point, it is maple syrup, and you're good to can it. So we're looking for 219. You know, if your water started to boil at 213, then you're looking for 220, you know, and so on. So that's pretty much how that works. We'll be checking the temperature as it goes. It just started to boil here maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago, so we got a little ways to go yet. And then one more thing is, you noticed I opened the door here. It's got the screen in it, and I have a couple other windows open here in the kitchen. This does produce a lot of steam, and you kind of want to reduce the steam that you produce. Your house will be sticky and everything else, so you don't want that. That's why we just finish it off in the house. You don't boil down all 40 gallons of what you got in the house. So I'm going to leave this boil for a little bit, and we'll keep checking the temperature of it, and I'll keep updating you guys on how it's going and what it looks like. I'll give you a shot here of it right now. Alright guys, I wanted to give you a look and see if you could even see it. You can see it's kind of a nice golden color or dark brown. It's really hard to see, I'm sure, through the camera because all the steam. But I'm going to show you guys how I check it at least. I'm wearing an oven mitt. That definitely helps because unless you had a clip-on thermometer, then that would be ideal. But if you have one like this, this is just how I do it. It's just that way you can hold there for a little bit and without getting burned by the steam. There's 212, and if we tick past 212, then that means we're into starting to make syrup range. So that would be a good sign. Looks like it's about 212.5 right now. Oh, there it is, 213. So it's starting to become syrup now. We'll just keep double checking it. I usually do about 15-minute intervals at least. When it goes one tick above your boiling point, I'd say you could check in 15-minute intervals and be safe. When you start getting up into, 5 degrees above your boiling, then you're going to want to check it a little more often, probably about at least, I'd say, between 5 to 10 minutes, however you feel comfortable doing it, but you don't want to let it go past. But another thing is I got a different pot here for my lids and my rings and whatnot for Canon, so you'll have to do that. And another thing is just got all my jars ready. Everything's ready to go, all set out. That way I don't have to waste any time. Everything's just set out and ready to go. So we're just waiting for that magic number here. So we'll wait 15 more minutes and see how things go. Alright guys, that video just seemed to end abruptly. I swore I had more footage of what I did at the end. Apparently I don't. Either that or it got lost, deleted, but I'm thinking what happened was that I know towards the end of that, because this is a little while after I did all this that I'm editing this, which shouldn't be, but regardless, if I remember correctly, it got real hectic, something with my cans or something, so I had a little fiasco and I didn't have time to set the camera up, because I think I remember my camera was dead, so I had to leave it plugged in, and so but anyway, I figured I'd come on here and show you guys at least the finished product, because that's basically all that was me putting it in jars, then putting lids on it. That was really about it, and then showing how much I got. This season I got about a total of 1.5 gallons, which is a little less than I usually get, but that's alright. It was a little weird season. We had a late warm-up, so it was kind of shorter, but there again, it was kind of constant. It was every day there was a sap flow for maybe 3 weeks. There wasn't a time where it stopped flowing, so good and bad. But this is the end product here. I just put it in a pint mason jar. I was right on the top of them too. Yeah, you probably can't even see that. The year, maple syrup. I did do 2 batches. I only filmed the second one. 2 boiling downs, I should say. But overall, good season. Maybe I'll film it next year and I'll try to get a full footage of it all. But overall, really enjoyed doing this. So if you're ever interested in doing this, I say go for it. It's a very simple, easy thing to do. And I really enjoyed it. So that's about it. If you're liking the videos, guys, hit the like button. Or you could always subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to keep up with these videos a little better. I have more videos of the truck. I'm going to try to edit one right after this. So be ready for more videos of the truck. It's coming along. So we'll talk to you guys later.